Hi, my neighbours David and Loretta bake their own sourdough bread, and it's quite simply the best bread I've ever tasted. For the past few years I've been really disappointed with the bread I've purchased locally, so I decided to give it a go and try and bake some sourdough bread. I've never baked anything, and to be honest I'm a bit of an idiot in the kitchen, so I really wasn't expecting much. Loretta gave me some starter, and over the past 5 weeks or so I've baked about 6 loaves of bread, and I have to say they've all turned out great. I decided to make this video because most of the videos out there seem to have been made by proper, almost professional bakers. I want to show you that it's really possible to make lovely sourdough bread in your kitchen, simple. Right, the ingredients. First of all, the flour. You need to use strong white or strong brown bread flour, or I also use a seeded malted bread flour. What I've done is I've made a loaf simply with strong white, one with strong brown, one with seeded, and I've also mixed it up. So I've tried strong white with seeded and strong brown with seeded, and they've all come out beautiful. The other thing, so you will need 520 grams in total of the flour, mix it as you like, 2 teaspoons of salt, 385 ml of water, and 90 grams of the starter. And that is your ingredients. So here's my 520 grams of flour, and I've mixed the strong white with the seeded. So before I do anything, I'm just going to mix that together so that the flour's even. Right, next to go in is my 90 grams of starter, which I've measured out, and the water. So I'm going to mix that up. Just roughly mix it up, because we're going to do some mixing in a minute. And it's a sort of milky colour. And then, I mean, as I told you, I'm no baker, so I just pour it in. Pour it in and start mixing it with a spoon to start with, until you get it sorted out. So I'm pouring it in. That's all the water and the starter straight in. So I've put all the water and the starter in the bowl, and I'm just mixing it in with a spoon. In a minute we'll start using our hands, but just the first bit I get it together like mainly with the spoon. Don't know why, I'm not a baker. Right. I'm going to take my watch off because it does get a bit messy. Oh, nearly forgot. Two teaspoons of salt. Now, you know, ingredients. I believe baking is a science, so you're meant to be accurate with the weights of the flour and the amounts of water. I'm pretty accurate. Things like salt, you've got to get it more or less. I mean, it's to taste, isn't it? So that's that. Let's stir that salt in. Just get all the excess flour off the edge. It's good to have a heavy mixing bowl, I must say. If you have got one, it's useful because it
gets quite sticky and lighter balls seem to fly around, and it's quite handy to put a towel underneath, otherwise it shoots around. Right, I'm just going to dampen my fingers. Get rid of the spoon, get the last of the mix out, and I'm going to really mix this together. Give it a firm kneading with my fingers. Again, there may be proper techniques. I don't know them, and the bread's going to turn out great. So as long as you really get your fingers in, give it a good massage, and we want to get it so that it all goes back into a nice big lump. It's very sticky, this. You do get stuff left on your fingers, and apparently you're meant to get it off with flour. It's not. It's a bit of a nightmare, but that's life. So I've given that a bit of a working, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover that with a damp towel, and I'm going to set my timer on the cooker for 35 minutes, and in 35 minutes I'll show you what I do. Right, my timer's just gone. There's the damp towel I've covered for the last 30 minutes. I'm going to wet my hands, and I'm now going to just scoop up the dough, stretch it, and lift it and fold it around for just 30 to 40 seconds. And I do this any way I know how. Just stretch it, move it around the bowl, knead it with your fingers. Lovely sticky consistency. Obviously try and keep it all together once you've slapped it about. Get as much off your fingers as possible and just work it around. So you do this for 30 or 40 seconds. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it another 3 times. So I'm going to do that a total of 4 times. So that's me done on this one. Just get as much off your fingers as possible, and I'll set my timer for another 35 minutes. So as you can see, we're going to have to do that a total of 4 times. That's going to be over 2 hours. The thing is, it might seem like a lot of work, but you're literally just doing 30 or 40 seconds, and then you can get on with whatever you're doing for 40 minutes, 35 minutes. Put the damp towel back over, timer on for 35 minutes. Right, my timer's just gone, and that's the 4th time I've done my 35-minute rest. So this is the last one to do. All I've got to do is wet my hands. Obviously I didn't record the previous 2. They were exactly the same as what I did the first time and what I'm doing now. Stretching, lifting, kneading. And I'm just going to do this for another 30 seconds. And again, don't worry too much about the amount of time or whatever. It's just a rough estimation I've found. You know, I do keep more or less to the rest times of 35 minutes. If you're 5 minutes over, it doesn't matter. So if you're doing something a basically all you got to do is give it 4 periods of this, lifting, folding, stretching, and then that is it for now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover it with a damp towel, and I'm going to leave it at room temperature just in the kitchen here overnight. Right, good morning. I've actually left the dough longer than normal. It's actually midday, so it's had longer, but as you can see it's risen really nicely. And what I'm going to do now is just the final steps. I need to wet my fingers. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold the dough. So it really has risen, this one, because I've left it longer. So what you need to do is you lift it and fold it once. You turn the bowl 180 degrees and you lift it again and fold it. You turn the bowl 90 degrees and lift it and fold it. And then you turn the bowl 180 degrees and you do the same. You just lift it and fold it, and that's it. You now cover it and leave it for 15 to 20 minutes. I normally leave it 15 minutes, and we're going to do that 4 times. Right, so what I'm going to do is I need to take the mixture out and place it into a lined bowl. So get it all. And I'm now going to put it into the fridge for 1 hour. We're going to put the bread into the oven in a Dutch oven, in other words in a heavy metal pot with a lid. So this one's perfect for it, and when I switch the oven on in a minute we'll be putting that inside it to warm up for half an hour. And the Dutch oven, which is empty, goes in, and I'm going to set that timer for half an hour so that it's fully warmed up. Right, we're very near the hour in the fridge, and what you need to do is put 2 nice cuts in the dough. There you go. Right, take the Dutch oven out the oven. It's very, very hot, so be careful. Get the dough, put it in without touching the sides. There you go. Quickly get the top back on and put it back in the oven. That's the 22 minutes up, and I'm now going to remove the lid and leave the bread in with the lid off for 14 minutes. Originally, the first few loaves I made, I left it in for 11 minutes with the lid off, but I found they weren't quite perfect, so I've lengthened it to 14 minutes and the bread comes out every time perfect. Right, and there is the sourdough bread. As you can see, the loaf of bread is amazing. As soon as it's cooled off a little bit, I'll remove the paper and show you. Right, so it's literally still very, very hot. Just going to take away the paper. It comes off really nicely. Just make sure you don't tear it off on it. paper caught there. And there you go. Just one gorgeous sourdough loaf. It's still really hot, smells great. So, as easy as that, even an old idiot like me can do it. So it's cooled down a bit. I'll try cutting a small bit off the edge, see what it looks like. Oh, nice. And I'll cut another piece there. And there you have it. Nice. Really nice. Light, fluffy bread. Great taste.